go ahead and start. All right. So, hi, Kristin. My name is Eunice, and I'll be your interviewer today. So, to start off, I wanted to ask you, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of like your career path and what you have been doing since you graduated from Miami and the Leadership Institute?
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduated 2 years ago in 2018. And so that means I was a member of Cohort 5. I feel like that sounds like so long ago compared to the numbers we're up to now. But yeah, so I graduated with a bachelor's in chemical engineering. And I graduated on Saturday, and I immediately went to work on a Monday because I was so excited to hit the ground running. Yeah, so I started work and I continue to work at Kroger. I work in their facility engineering department. I'm based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, so I didn't go that far from Oxford. I work as a regional project manager, meaning that I manage construction projects for Kroger in the Cincinnati and Dayton area. So my job is basically to take, say, a remodel or a new store, any kind of construction project like that for Kroger from beginning to end. So that's like hiring an architect, getting construction documents, getting a contractor lined up, executing it, closing it out, that whole deal. So, you know, if one of your friends or family lives close by and stuff's being moved in their store, you can blame me or my team or my coworkers. Yeah, no one's super excited to see us walk into a store, but I love my job. It's so much fun, and it's a big departure from chemical engineering, but I think it was so worth it, and it's a blast. It's addictive. Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like it's very important to just do something like you're passionate about at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so to move on to the next question, what are some of the bigger obstacles you faced when you're kind of transitioning from that college environment to work environment?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think no one can prepare you for what you're going to go through. They can try and warn you, they can try and tell you, right? But I was actually planning on going back to Miami to get a master's degree, and I stopped. I got a full-time job offer that summer that I went to go work. So I was kind of thrown into it. So I think one of the first big obstacles was that a lot of people have like this vision for their first job. You're gonna get a lot of on-the-job training, right? You're gonna be walk through some stuff. You're gonna slowly ease your way up. That was not the case at all. I think it's pretty consistent across everyone I've talked to. It's not just a Kroger thing. It's not just like my job thing. But there's a lot of uncertainty, and you're really thrown into it. They're just trying to see what you're capable of, what you can do. And it means you really got to roll with punches and be open and curious. So I had to immediately get used to a lot of uncertainty. And another really hard thing was starting, especially working in construction as like then a 22-year-old, recent grad and a young woman. It's really hard to relate to people sometimes, especially when the demographic is such as it is in construction, which isn't bad at all. But it was definitely hard to integrate myself, feel comfortable with everyone at first. And it's not something that, school or classes really prepare you for ever, right? It's always so regimented. Similar people are right there in front of you. You're with a lot of young people that are in a similar place in their life, and then suddenly you're not. And that being said, also working in construction, there's a lot of like conflict management that you never get taught in school either, which is really difficult. Suddenly, it goes from maybe a couple month or semester long group projects to you having really long-term, several months, like couple of year projects at work. And you have to work through the same difficulties you would run into in like schoolwork groups, but with people that you have to see day and day and day, like in and out. So it was really a struggle to try and approach like legitimate conflicts with a collaborative and sustainable solution. But that's something that, I think the Leadership Institute really touches on with like crucial conversations and stuff. That's an amazing like first intro into dealing with those the issues that crop up in your full-time job that you weren't used to before. But you really start out with not a lot of tools in your tool bag. Just gather them up as quickly as you can. But it's amazing for sure.
Yeah, it's like a lot of learning opportunities and just like ways to grow in several ways.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. So also, what did you, I guess that kind of ties into what you learned at the Institute that kind of helped you in terms of understanding like what is going on around you, what having to adapt, how to kind of like the Leadership Institute can like directly contribute.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what you said about adapting is absolutely true. There's this one book that we've read about grit by Angela Duckworth. Yeah. Have you guys read that one or no?
Yeah. We didn't, our class didn't necessarily read it, but we definitely got presented to about it. And we're encouraged to read it. I've personally not read it yet, but I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, that has like really, really stuck with me. I still have like the book in my bookshelf, like in my office, I look at every day. But it's so true. I mean, you're thrown a bunch of random things every single day. You know, what comes down the pipe isn't always what you accomplish every day. And they can come out of left field, all these issues, all these fires you have to put out every day. And again, like you come out of college, you know, eager and excited, but not having a lot of tools in your tool bag, right? You have technical and theoretical engineering knowledge. But what matters the most is how you respond to those issues and how you tackle them and overcome them and adapt and see them as like learning opportunities. And I think, you know, the Leadership Institute covering grit was so crucial in showing that you should approach everything as a learning opportunity, approach it with curiosity, with excitement. And I still try and do that every single day. And another huge thing that the Leadership Institute instills in you is becoming more self-aware or self-reflection. Yeah, you should never ever stop doing that. You know, life is a marathon of professional and personal development. I mean, mostly personal development. Your job's a big part of your life, but it's not everything. So even stuff as simple as like the Myers-Briggs test, personality test, discussing those, every time that you take a test like that, or you write down in a journal, or you talk to someone about your behavior, you grow in self-awareness and you get to know yourself better. And again, the better you understand yourself and you can harness your strengths, the more value you will bring to your job, those around you, your team, all that kind of stuff. Never stop learning from yourself, definitely. Yeah, but that being said, never stop learning from others. I know part of the Myers-Briggs test in the Leadership Institute is talking about how you interact with other kinds of people, seeing how you best vibe with, communicate with, resolve conflicts with other types, which again is so important. Like we're talking about, you're going to get thrown into a very diverse group at work. You have to really build a relationship with. And that's where the rubber meets the road, is where you actually communicate with people. Yeah, and I think one thing that the Leadership Institute really brings to Miami's, College of Engineering and Computing is taking engineers that are innately curious and good at solving problems, but gives them the ability to apply that problem-solving ability to both people and engineering, right? You could be the most brilliant engineer, you can solve any technical problem thrown in front of you, but to some, that's not very fulfilling, and I don't feel like that would create the biggest impact or difference in those around you, right? And that's kind of why I jumped into the job I did. It's not like, you're a design engineer thrown into your cubicle, you're designing day in and day out, you're working alone, right? I'm working in engineering project management. It's so dynamic, bouncing off of the wide variety of people I talk to every day, from like architects to carpenters to associates at the Kroger store, is so energizing. It's so much fun. And I think that's that's where engineers can truly make a difference, is if you bridge the gap between, using your curiosity and your problem solving ability and your analytical mind, but using it to study those around you and really grow and bring value to your team and the people around you. People, I think, are the hardest problems engineers could ever be faced with, because there's no clear answer, right?
Yeah,
the world is not black and white. College might teach you it's kind of black and white. It's truly all gray,
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with what you said. And the Leadership Institute has just taught me to just kind of like get out of that comfort zone of just like, okay, I can do this, I'm going to stay there. It's like, now try and branch out, try and connect, and kind of see where you go from there,
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And so to wrap it off, what would you tell a student like me or my peers to be doing right now in order to kind of like help us kind of like postgraduate, undergrad, if you will, as well? Kind of like maybe your advice, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of like what I said before, what the Institute really helps instill in you is this habit of self-reflection. Learn about yourself. Never stop learning about yourself, whatever form that may take. Maybe you like to write, you like to journal. Maybe you like, reading research studies or taking personality tests or whatever. Even talking to your friends, you do this normally with your friends too. You're like, why did I do that? It didn't make any sense, in like this social situation or something. Never stop learning about yourself or investing in yourself. And I would say also ask a ton of questions from everyone. I think people always warn you about this pitfall that young engineers coming out of college fall into, where they're like, you feel like you're on top of the world, you overcome a tough program, you have this degree in your hands. But you don't know what you don't know. Yeah, and you never want to be the young engineer in the room that has ill-placed confidence, or you act like you know everything, right? So I know when I first jumped into my job, especially going into construction, having a degree in chemical engineering, when I said that, everyone was like, why are you here? And I was like, yeah, that's a really good question. The job was fun and I love to learn and I get to do it every day and I get to like talk to people and all that stuff. So immediately I was kind of like, and I couldn't relate to a lot of people I was working with. So I was kind of put on guard, right? I was excited to learn, but I could have always asked more questions, and you can always learn something from everyone around you. It doesn't matter who they are, if they're younger than you, older than you can learn something from everyone. Approach everyone with curiosity and ask them tons of questions. They're not going to be offended. They'll probably be flattered. Everyone loves, to talk about themselves, talk about what they learned. Just take every opportunity, every conversation, with curiosity for people and what they do. And I know it can be hard sometimes. I know when I was first trying to do so, and I was working in construction, right? I didn't want to show that I absolutely knew nothing, because you think people will take advantage of you. They'll see you as unintelligent. But being vulnerable and showing that you don't know but you're willing to learn means so much more than coming out with the right answer off the gate. That's not the truth. No one's going to be able to do that. So definitely practice that vulnerability. It's really uncomfortable to say, I really don't know. Like, get comfortable saying, I don't know. That opens up, for so much more great advice and teachings to come from those around you. And just saying, I don't know, but I'll find out means a lot. It shows you have that curiosity, that intrinsic motivation. You're just there to be a sponge. It's not bad. Embrace vulnerability for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. That's honestly a really great advice. So thank you so much, Kristin, for joining us here, and we really appreciate your time. And with that, I will